Welcome to the Explainer. You ever feel stuck? Like something's just holding you back from, really succeeding? Well, today we're digging into a powerful idea that maybe the biggest barrier we face is actually in our own minds. We're going to uncover how a simple change in perspective can unlock a whole new reality.
So let's kick things off with this classic idea from Napoleon Hill. What you think about, you become. And I mean, really think about that for a second. It's not just some nice saying. He's arguing that our thoughts, they're not just random noise in our heads. They're actually the architects of our destiny, sculpting everything from our character to what we achieve.
But, that brings up a pretty big question, right? If it's really that simple, why aren't we all super successful? Why do so many of us struggle? Well, the answer, or at least a really powerful way to think about it, lies in this story about a beggar whose life was about to be turned completely upside down by one single encounter.
So let's meet our main character. This is a guy who is totally trapped by his circumstances. I mean, his whole world, his entire identity, it wasn't about who he was. It was all about what he didn't have. So he was stuck in what you'd call a scarcity mindset. I mean, look at his situation. He's living in a busy railway station, just trying to survive by asking for money. And here's the crucial part. He genuinely believed he had nothing of value to give. So in his mind, other people were just, they were just a source for what he could get.
Okay, so then one day, everything changes. This well-dressed businessman shows up on the platform, and a single, simple conversation is about to light a fuse that's going to challenge the beggar's entire reality.
So the businessman doesn't just toss him a coin and walk away. Nope. He asks a question that just cuts right to the heart of this guy's entire life. I mean, just imagine hearing that after years and years of just taking. It's got to be a shock. For the first time, he's basically being forced to look himself in the mirror and face the life he's built.
And what this businessman is really getting at is this fundamental rule of how the world works, right? The principle of exchange. The simple, powerful idea that if you want to get something valuable, you've got to offer something valuable first.
And look, it's not like the businessman is trying to be cruel here. Not at all. He's teaching a huge lesson. He's basically saying, hey, I'm a businessman. I believe in a fair trade. If you tell yourself you have nothing to give, then, I can't give you anything either. He's showing the beggar that his own mindset is the lock on the door.
And this is where the magic starts to happen. It all begins with just thinking. For 2 whole days, those words just bounce around in his head. Then, inspiration hits. He just happens to notice some wildflowers growing near the tracks. And that little spark leads to action. He starts giving a flower for every coin he gets. And in that one simple act, he has this incredible realization. Wait a minute, I'm not a beggar anymore. I'm a trader.
So, sometime later, their paths cross again, and the change is just, you can't miss it. The businessman sees him, but he's not just begging anymore, he's trading. And he tells him, today you are no longer just a beggar, you have become a businessman. He's basically confirming this new identity the man built for himself.
This timeline really drives it home, doesn't it? It shows you just how incredibly fast this kind of change can happen once the mindset shifts. Day 1, you have the encounter that plants the seed. By day 3, just 2 days later, he's already taking action with the flowers. And then, bam! 6 months later, he meets the businessman again. Not as someone looking for a handout, but as an equal, a peer.
And this chart here just lays it all out, plain and simple. Look at the before and after. His identity, it went from beggar to business owner. His mindset, and this is the absolute key to the whole story, it shifted from just taking to exchanging. And the result? Well, he went from pure survival to actual success. The world outside of him just started to reflect the change that already happened inside his head.
So, in their final meeting, he says something that just sums it all up perfectly. He says, you know what? I was never really a beggar. I was a businessman this whole time. I just had to see myself that way. Wow. The potential was always in him. The only thing that was ever missing was the belief.
And that really brings us to the core lesson here for all of us. Your life, it's like a mirror. It's going to reflect back to you exactly the identity you hold on the inside. If you see yourself as someone with nothing to offer, well, guess what? The world is probably going to agree with you. But the second you start to see your own value, everything can change.
So, at the end of the day, this story, it's not really about a beggar, is it? It's about you. It's about me. It's about us. And it leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. Because right now, in this very moment, your thoughts are literally building your future. So, what you think about, you become. The only question left is, who do you choose to be?